provoke the circumcision through you getting right, that they'll copy you and get right with the Most High also. Alright, continue.
It says, them which are my flesh, and might save some of them.
Them there was my flesh, his kinsmen, according to the flesh, which is the nation of Israel.
That's why Paul said, be ye followers of me, even as I am of Yahushua.
Yeah.
That's also emulation. Okay? Then you start keeping the laws, so on and so forth.
When you fully persuaded in your own mind.
Yeah. That's why Paul cursed out Peter when he seen him. I believe he was sitting to meet with.
Yeah, because Peter, what it was when Peter was with the uncircumcision, was the Israelite foreigners, he was all cool with them. But when the Jews came around, which was the circumcision, he pushed away from them. He acted like, he was being two-faced.
Yeah,
he's like, oh yeah, those are heathens, man. But when nobody's around, he's trying to convert them. But he was making them.
You can't do that because if you're a man that was been in the truth for a while, for a long time, and you know that you could go to a Christmas party and eat or something like that, you can't take somebody that's young. So I'm saying if somebody's looking up to you, because how do a baby learn? A baby, when you come into the truth, you become a baby again.
Yeah.
And how do you learn? By emulating.
Yep.
You emulate the people that's around you. So if you see them doing certain things, and you telling them not to do this particular thing, and they see you do it, they're not gonna understand.
They understand what he did.
You being a hypocrite,
basically, to them, towards them.
Yeah, because like he's saying, you go, it's a Thanksgiving dinner. That's often up to the idol. You might go, your family having, you just go to eat the food.
Exactly.
But another brother, he just coming in the truth. He be like, wait man, isn't this Thanksgiving, the slaughter of the Native American Indians, which is true, but he don't understand. Like, it's just food.
Yeah, he don't understand. Yeah,
it's just food. It's just whatever they sacrifice. That's not you. You just go in there and eat the food and break the hell out.
Exactly.
All right.
Another thing, that's why Paul also cursed out. He had an argument with them other brothers. He was saying, because the other brothers was forcing the circumcision on Jacob.
Yeah, that's right. That's I think it's Acts 11, Acts 11th chapter. You don't gotta get it. You don't gotta get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. They was trying to say, unless you be circumcised after the manner of Moses, you can't be saved.
Yeah.
But Peter said, look, basically you can't. They just coming in. You can't force them on them. You can't just. They gotta be fully persuaded.
You gotta grow into it.
You gotta grow into it.
You can't force
it. You can't just soon you come in there, you're gonna be keeping 100% of the laws perfect. That's anybody who's teaching you like that, they're going off. But eventually, when you start getting, you have to start keeping the laws. When you build up the faith,
you know,
all right, and the understanding, you have to. Now you're obligated to keep the law, rehearse the law, statutes, and commandments.
You will want to go get circumcised.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do it, right? Because you want to be closer to your ancestors. You want to be how your ancestors was. You want to be close to the Most High. Yeah. Y'all was in on that?
Hey, you want more?
I mean, that was basically on that.
Yeah.
You want to go back to 1 Corinthians?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians.
All right, 1 Corinthians 15 and 1-2. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which
the good news, which the word gospel means good news. That's exactly what we're doing. We're declaring you the good news that our warfare is accomplished and that our iniquity is pardoned. All right, and now it's time for us to rise as a people and to rule the earth like as it was promised to us.
I said, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye received, and wherein ye stand.
Right. Well, also ye received. All right, because you brought all the other camps, including us.
Yep.
Because we received the elders. We received the gospel which the elders taught. We received it. We didn't buck up against it. Yep. We didn't gainsay against it. We received it. All right? Continue.
Right. By which also ye are saved.
Right. By which also ye are saved. Like the brother said, it was through the Spirit we received it. Read that again.
It says, which also ye have received, and where ye stand, by which also ye are saved.
Right. Where we stand in the faith, by which also we are saved. All right? Like scripture said, you have something?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish saying what you were saying. I'm gonna bring the scripture out.
Read that again.
It says, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached.
If you keep in memory what I preached. So if we keep in memory all the things that we learned from the elders, what they preached, what they taught, all right, we're gonna stand firm on a firm foundation, and more than likely we're gonna receive salvation.
We're gonna get that crown.
We're gonna get that uncorruptible crown.
Yep.
Hold that.
This is 1 Timothy 4:16. Take heed unto thyself, and into the doctrine continue in them. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
Right. You shall save thyself
Paul did
and
that.
them that hear you. All right? Because what? The scripture said, woe is to me if I teach not the gospel, then dispensation of the gospel is given unto me. All right? So our blood is off our hands.
1 Corinthians 15.
Our blood is off our hands by going out there and teach, and the elect is going to hear us. We're saving not only ourselves by doing the will of the Lord, but we also saving them through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and bringing them into the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right?
I got a scripture for you.
All right, go ahead.
It says stand, because the scripture, I'm going to read it and I'm going to read this one.
All right, come on.
All right, it says, by which, it says, moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also you have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if you keep in memory what I preach unto you, unless ye have believed in vain.
Right, if you keep in memory the things that I preached to you, unless you have believed in vain. Meaning what? You heard everything that the elders preached, but when all hell breaks loose, it's like it just slips your mind. And you believe the whole time you was out there, you believed in vain.
Yep. It's just like the man that looked in the looking glass and seen his face, and as soon as when he left, he forgot what his face
he forgot
looked
what he looked like. And the word, when you see a precept, it says, keep in memory means it says hold fast.
Yeah.
And the book of Revelation it says hold fast to that which I has, that no man take your crown.
Right.
What's that? They're talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
This is Ezra's. This is Ezra's, second Ezra's, the second chapter, and since we're talking about the crown,
Yeah, but what's the time on the
46.
Alright.
I'm gonna start at 43. I'm gonna read it, quick. It says, in the midst of them, I'm gonna start at 42. Second Ezra's 2 and 42. Ezra's I saw it says, I Ezra saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man.
And that great people was talking about the 144,000, all right? The elect of the nation of Israel in 1/3. That's the great people that he saw that he couldn't number. But we got but you can't number the 1/3, but you can number the 144,000 because it's written in the book. The rest of the 1/3, you can't number them, all right? We're gonna find out that and when when the destruction comes, because the 1/3 out of the 1/3, 144,000 is chosen to be the government body, all right? Because the 1/3 and 144,000 is all the same, all right? But out of the 1/3, the 144,000 has written in Revelation 7 chapter, 12,000 out of each tribe. They the ones chosen to be the government body, the heads of the nation of Israel.
You got men, women, and children.
Yeah, the men, like the rest of the 1/3 is gonna be the friends of the prophets, the helps, the men, women, and children.
Yep.
All right.
Says, and in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature.
And that young man is Yahushua. He's gonna be the tallest man in Israel this time around. All right, because back then it was Saul. He was the tallest man in Israel. It said his shoulders was above all the other people of Israel. But this time around, Yahushua is gonna be the tallest man in Israel. And they said a young man. All right, continue.
Taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set a crown.
Right, and that's what we're seeking for. That's why we're doing this work, to receive that uncorruptible crown and to be rulers, man. Because when we set up in the kingdom, you know, on this side you might you wake up, you bored, you don't got nothing to do. You all like, damn, I need something to do. When the world will come, you need a woman. And that the world come ain't gonna be no shit like that for no Israelite.
Go to another planet.
You're gonna go on other planets. A woman is gonna be the least of the glory of the kingdom. That's a bottom. That's a light thing, man. Traveling to different planets, spiritual power.
Yes,
whooping Esau's ass.
Whooping Esau's ass. Going to the spiritual world.
Yeah.
Knowing stuff that you don't know in this time.
Right, knowing stuff that you don't know in this time, man.
The black holes, all different.
You know, it says, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns.
Right, upon every one of their heads he set crown. Like the elder Tazdakwa went through a camp. Best believe the first person that's gonna get that crown is King David.
Yep.
All right, because Scripture tell you that we shall seek our King, and that is our King. He's gonna be the first, which was who, if you can receive it, which was King Mashah.
That's
right.
right.
All right, even though we didn't have the pleasure of meeting him in this life, but we do know him in the spirit. All right, and we're gonna see him as he is when he returns with Yahweh